The president of the Living Faith Church, also known as Winners Chapel, Bishop David Oyedepo, has come after Tinubu's government. He said he want Nigeria not to vote for this government, but people started criticizing him for speaking forth before the election. He said this administration is a killer system, that some Nigerians voted a killer system into office.
I told Nigeria, I said, what? You are voting a killer system into power. I said it with all my passion. I saw it. I saw a bloodthirsty army of men coming to cause massacre in the country. I saw it.
But before we go into the details and analyze what Bishop David Oyedepo said about this current administration and the destiny of Nigeria, the Northern youth has come out to say that they are going to shut down Nigeria. That is a heavy word. Come to think of it, why is it that the North, any small thing they want to shut down Nigeria? What is going on? At this time around, it's all about the layoff staffs that the CBN sacked. They said CBN sacked some staffs from the North, also from the eastern part of Nigeria, that they are targeting people that they think that they don't have anything to do, that they want to show this government that they have something to do. They describe the exercise as unjust, alleging that majority of the sacked workers were indigenes of the North. Reminding you that some days ago, also a terrorist organization called ISWAP also went after so many indigenes from these northern extractions. They promised them security. They promised them that they would take care of them more than the Nigerian government. They promised they would do everything for them, that they will join them to actualize the dream of Islamic State that they are going to create out of Nigeria in this year 2024. Now, come to think of it, it will be very easy for these people to do, because they have already started collecting taxes from the farmers from 2022 up to now. So many villages, they have sacked the indigenous, people from that village and used those villages to turn to their province where they need other people from around the country. They have their own people. They have their own agenda. And I think this time around, Nigeria is waking up, because everyone is talking about return Nigeria to the regional government. Everybody is talking about amend the constitution and make sure that Nigeria succeed, do this and do that. So everyone is waking up about this situation in Nigeria. So let's listen to what Bishop David Oyedepo said.
You can't cast a spell on prophet. No. Your charmers know that prophets occupy higher place than they do. How dare you? I told Nigeria, I said, what? You are voting a killer system into power. I said it with all my passion. I saw it. I saw a bloodthirsty army of men coming to cause massacre in the country. I saw it. Telling the blind the way to go is a problem. It was a blind church, full of blind leaders. With their eyes open, they went to the ditch. And then they put God's prophets under pressure. It's for children's sake that will be watching around the world that we didn't put that on the film. But we send it to you. So you see the passion from where I'm coming from. Is there a government? No! Irresponsible, insensitive, callous, bloodthirsty, destructive, retrogressive. Thank you, Jesus. But this church, don't toy around. Don't toy around. Don't come near. Wherever you are, your sleep ends now. Valium 20 won't give you sleep. Valium 100 won't give you sleep. Your pains that will lead to your grave begins now. Robbers! Rogues! Fraudsters! Fighting corruption with corruption? Foul! Has corruption been any more in this country than in the last few years?
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress has rejected the 62,000 minimum wage proposed by Tinubu's government. Not only rejecting 62,000, they also reject in advance 100,000. They said that any amount that is not greater than 100,000 should not come to the table. And today, their ultimatum ends. But Tinubu, this evening, has also called the president of Nigerian Labour Congress and the leadership of the Labour Union to tell them that they are going to hear from him within 48 hours, that he is going to, announce a good minimum wage that will make them to conduct this right. Well, is it going to happen as he said? I don't know, because there have been series of promise and violation of promises that is associated with this current government of Tinubu's APC. And so many well-meaning Nigerians have been talking about this issue of minimum wage. Anyone going to the market will know that even 100,000 won't cook, let me say, 10 pots of soup in different times. When you go to market to buy things, you see the prices of commodities, how they are going forth. And so many Nigerians are warning the government about things that could come. Reverend Father George Ehusani made an interesting case for Nigerians, also the Labour Union, and also advises in a kind of warning to the Tinubu's administration.
I have been sick of this problem. I have been sick of this controversy over living wage or minimum wage. And I believe that something is seriously wrong with the heads of many of our leaders. How can anyone who earns 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, not to talk of people who earn 1 million, 2 million, how can they go to sleep in good conscience every day? How can they go to sleep in good conscience and come out to sit down in a boardroom to discuss the sustainability or otherwise of paying 60,000 to the poorest of workers? How can we go to bed and sleep, all those who belong to the elite, who earn 2, 3, 4, 500,000, 1 million? How can you go to sleep in good conscience, I say, if you still have any conscience? How can you go to sleep in good conscience and come out to be debating? I hear people on TV, I watch people on TV, experts, economic experts, corporate executives, government officials, who are taking home more than $1 million in a month. And they are there arguing that 60,000 or over will destroy the economy, is not sustainable. How wicked! You give 60,000 to a poor worker, a poor worker who may have a family of 2 or 3 or 4, for his feeding, for his accommodation, for his house rent, for his medical care, for his children's school fees. How wicked! How blind! How can we do that? And we think that God will bless our country? We think that it is by bringing a new national anthem for God to bless our country? How can you commit this crime against humanity? For me, this is a crime against humanity. Because the poor people who cannot afford to buy gari, I'm not saying they will buy that they are to buy sardine. I'm saying buy gari, poor people who cannot buy gari. I'm not talking of meat or fish. Poor people are dying because they have no money to cure malaria. How can you go to sleep in good conscience? Those of us who belong to the elite, how can we go to sleep with good conscience and we are debating And we are discussing, and we vote 500 million naira to meet and debate about paying 60,000 to the poor. My dear friends, I see this as a new form of apartheid. Nigeria is one of the most unequal societies in the entire world. A society where it's like the animal farm. A society where we have conspicuously rich people, people who are living in conspicuous consumption, and others who are in deplorable, dehumanizing poverty. If you have somebody in this country that takes home 1 million naira, I mean 1 million, I'm not talking of 30 million naira, 1 million naira in the month, and he can open his mouth to be part of a discussion about the poor getting 60,000 naira. I say anyone who earns up to 1 million naira in the month should keep his or her mouth shut when he hears them debating about taking 60,000 for the poor. More than 60 years after independence, we are running an apartheid society. This time it's not racial apartheid, it's economic apartheid. We are running an apartheid society of people of conspicuous consumption, flying in private jets around at government expense, people who are riding 4, 5, 6, 7 SUVs with pilot vehicles, chasing the poor out of the road, and poor people, you are debating, you are discussing, you are over 60,000 for the poor. You insult the poor by saying 30,000, and later you say 48,000, and now you say 60,000, and you pay more than 60,000, you come out with 62,000. You insult poor Nigerians. I say there is hardly any society I know that is as divided as the Nigerian society. And a society that is so divided is just sitting on a keg of gunpowder. I have warned here before that the revenge of the poor is at the corner. The revenge of the poor is at the corner. I am not calling for it, but it will happen as night follows the day. Because when you so reduce people, you reduce people to this dehumanizing level. Nature does not allow a situation of islands of affluence amidst a sea of poverty. Nature does not allow it. And let me warn those in the elite. Let me warn those in the tripartite committee of government. Let me warn that it is in the course of nature that when a predator continues to devour the very resources that the predator needs for his own sustenance, nature will take out the predator in order to have equilibrium, in order to have a measure of equilibrium. Nature is about balance, you know. All of nature is about balance, and human beings are part of nature.